You're running for mayor of a city, and you are telling me that when you're angry at somebody black, you call them the N-word?
No.
So if you're a white person who's in the Ku Klux Klan who shows a Nazi symbols and hates black people, and
well, that's one reason that's one reason I'm not, I don't use that term anymore. I believe in what I believe about race and everything else, but I don't like the term. I don't like, Ku Klux Klan. All it is, it has the Jewish Hollywood, image of some white guys in sheets hanging a black guy somewhere who was falsely accused of raping a white woman, and I don't want to be associated with.
All right, I understand that you don't like the term white supremacy. Are you okay with the N-word?
Well, I mean, they say it. When I lived in South Jackson, the blacks call themselves N-words all the time.
Do you not understand that when a black person calls another black person the N-word, it's very different than if somebody
Yeah,
calls...
I understand.
Okay, so I'm asking you, do you use that word to reference black people?
Well, yeah, I'm like, when I'm mad, I think everybody does.
No, everybody, no, sir, with respect.
I don't say
no. Hold on. There is not one white person in my orbit when they get mad call a black person the N-word.
I don't call a black person. I say, if a black person does me wrong, when I go home, I might say
the N-word.
Well, that damn.
Whoa. Okay. First of all, you can't say that word on the air, sir. Do you realize
sir.
Do you realize that you're running for mayor of a city, and you are telling me that when you're angry at somebody black, you call them the N-word when you go home?
I don't call them in person. Nothing. I go home and I might say that the word I'm not supposed to use.
Do you why wouldn't you just say I'm angry at that person? Why would you call them the N-word? You're running for mayor and you're normalizing using the N-word, sir. Do you
I'm not. I just said I would never do it in public. I said when I get home, if a black person did me wrong in public, I would curse them and call them the N-word.
Got you. Well, then you're a coward. Why won't you say it in person then? You'll say it behind.
Because I don't want to get beat up and
that's the definition of a coward then, right? Isn't it? You'll go home and use a racist term, but you won't use that racist term to their face.
It's not a matter of using racist.
Yes, it is. The N-word.
If a black man did another black man wrong in public, he might go home to his house.
I'm not talking about. It's again. You're trying to conflate the two, sir. You're trying to make it like a black person calling a black person that is the same as you, who is a former member of.
I don't say it's the same.
Of course it's not.
If somebody does anybody wrong, regardless of race, religion, creed, ethnicity, they're going to go home and they're going to say all kinds of negative
Well,
comments.
I've never, you know why I don't do that? Because I'm not a racist. And if a black person treats me bad, I look at them the same as a white person. I say, hey, that's an a-hole. That's a jerk. He treated me bad. Why use the N-word, which is one of the most disgusting words in the dictionary, and you're normalizing it? You're saying you go home and you'll call them the N-word. Sir, you're trying to be the mayor of a city where black people live in your community. Do you think they would appreciate the fact that when you're angry at a black person, maybe even someone you would have to work with, that you would go home and call them the N-word? And you expect people to be okay with that? And you say, well, everybody does it. No, sir. The people that go home and call, with all due respect, the people that go home and call black people the N-word are racist and bigots and probably former members of the Ku Klux Klan. Do you understand that that's the group that you're in?
No, I'm not. I haven't been associated with the Klan in over 30 years.
But you were, and it doesn't sound like you've changed. You're normalizing going home and calling a black person the N-word as a Republican, and you're trying to become the mayor of a city, sir. Can't you admit that that's wrong? Can't you admit that that's disgusting?
Like I said, I would never call anybody by an ethnic or racial term.
But you do it when you go home.
If you say it makes me a coward, maybe so.
Well,
I don't know.
You're the kind of guy. You're the kind of guy that calls somebody an N-word under their breath so that they can't hear it. It makes you a racist and it makes you a coward. Why don't you admit that?
No, I wouldn't. It makes me a coward if I don't want to get killed, I guess. Okay. I don't want to get killed because I've been beat up for no reason.
Well,
My
guess
house
what?
was robbed in South Jackson constantly.
Okay.
I couldn't go 3 blocks away to the post office without the damn house being ransacked.
And they're only black people that commit crimes? Is that what you're saying? They were only black people?
No, I'm not saying that, but 12%. They're 12% of the national population. They commit over 51% of the violent crime.
So they're all N-word then? Is that so? When you go home, you just call them the N-word?
Well, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
There are plenty of law-abiding citizens of every race. I don't use the N word routinely.
So you don't like the word. So you don't like the word white supremacist, but you're totally okay at home calling black people the N word. Is that fair, sir?
No, I don't. That's not. It's not the chief thing on my mind, sir. I got involved in the Klan for various reasons.
Well, they're a hate group. They're a hate group. They wear their white hoodies. They don't show their faces like the cowards that they are. They hate on Jewish people.
True. Most of the marches I had were by ordinance. We were not, because of masking ordinances, we were not allowed to wear masks during the march.
They hate people based on religion and based on skin color. That's why they are a hate group, sir. And I wish you would admit that. And I wish you would, listen, I know you at your age, you're probably not going to change. And I don't expect in this conversation to change you at all. But you're also running for public office. You're running for the mayor of Biloxi. And you're telling me openly, and you just admitted that when you go home and a black person does you wrong, you use the N-word to describe them. And I am amazed that you think that that's okay. I am amazed that you think that's all right. That would be that's the problem. You don't know, sir. It's disgusting. I can't believe.
I mean, there are all kinds of ethnic,
and it makes it wrong, and it's not right. I don't care about it. It'd be like,
who cares what a person says in their own house? I mean, it makes it.
You're running for
an Italian.
I'll tell you why.
Italian wrong, and they call him a dago.
I'll tell you why. Because you're running for public office, and it's not against the law for you to do that. But you're openly admitting that you hurl the N-word as a white man in anger because you don't like a black person. That is abundantly racist, and you are admitting that on this show, and you're running for mayor. You don't see a problem with that?
No, I don't, because I can guarantee you that there are many white people throughout the country who, when they have a bad experience with a black person, they probably make some ethnic slurs when they go.
Well, let me tell you something, sir. Let me be clear. Maybe the friends that you hang out with, but the white people that I hang out with do not use that word. They don't judge people on race. They don't judge people on religion. They treat everybody as equals. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk, and it shouldn't matter what the color of your skin is. Who's
defining who's the jerk? I mean, I don't.
If somebody treats me bad, I don't care what the color of their skin is. I also don't care if there are ethnic groups that date one another, black and white people, for example. I don't care. I wouldn't characterize Dr. Martin Luther King like you have as no good. Sir, I think with all due respect...
I don't call it because he's black, but because he supported the Viet Cong victory during the Vietnam War openly.
So you don't...
called Ho Chi Minh the George Washington of Vietnam.
You support Donald Trump. Think there's white genocide in America?
I think it's in America. I think it's in Europe. I think it's all over the world.
Who's committing white genocide?
Well, you and I are going to go really deep in the woods there. I mean,
this is news to me. Breaking news, there's genocide against white people.
The fastest way to find your resolve that you're looking for is to simply look at the percentages of whites, not only in Europe, in America.
Let's just talk about America.
But arguing this position, right? How can you argue that there doesn't seem to be some intentional directive against whites when white birth rates are declining and every other race is increasing? But to argue this point,
first of all, that wouldn't be.
It's just a coincidence.
First of all, that wouldn't be the definition of genocide. You specifically used genocide. If a woman decides not to have a baby, that's not genocide. Give me an example of white genocide in the United States of America.
Sure, media manipulation to target white people specifically to either.
Media manipulation is, with all due respect, media manipulation is not genocide. I don't know where you align the two.
How are you defining genocide? Genocide is
not the way you are.
No, I'm saying by the definition, an intentional directive to erase.
So you think Fox? So you don't like misinformation when it comes to the media, Richie? Is that a fair characterization? I don't want to misinterpret. I don't like
misinformation from anybody. Any
so when Fox News was sued for $900 million, claiming that the Dominion voting.
I'm not a fan of Fox News. I'll tell you.
Okay, I can understand and I appreciate that, but you would agree that I think there's far more of that going on the right than the left right now when it comes to the 2020 election, when it comes to manipulating numbers, Donald Trump and the Epstein files. I mean, there's so much to discuss. Yeah. I'm not saying the left is perfect either. I don't watch a lot of MSNBC. I'll be honest with you. I watch Fox News and CNN, and then I make my own conclusions. But I don't believe, Richie.
Everyone's emotionally driven. Everyone's pinned against each other by this right-left spectrum that's given this perspective.
Well, I agree with that.
It's all theater at the end of the day, right? I think there's much larger plans, and I don't want to die on the hill of white genocide, but I do believe that things go a lot deeper than maybe even you realize or people realize. It's a dark place to figure this stuff out and to kind of go down these rabbit holes.
Would you rather be a white person or a black person living in America right now?
I'd rather be a white person in any history of time, anywhere.
Even though there's white genocide,
I would be betraying.
Black,
but see, and that's the argument I try to make at the debate as well. Is like you have to take some pride to some degree in your lineage, right? For me personally, when I think about being a white American, I don't think about myself and my own experiences. I think about the fact that when I've done my research and looked into my ancestry and seen, effectively what my lineage has gone through to get to where they are, to get to where I am, right? And the suffering. I mean, I didn't grow up wealthy. I didn't have generational wealth. We were never in a higher upper class through generation after generation, whatever. Of course, I take pride in the fact that it was intentional and it was made for me. Right, this country was fought and died for me. It wasn't fought and died for other people, especially non-Americans.
Plenty of people that are not white that have served this country that have paid the ultimate price and lost their life.
I would say blacks, yeah, but not. I wouldn't argue. I would say blacks, sure. In terms of,
what do you mean? There's all sorts of people in the military: Hispanics, Asians, all sorts of different races.
Very recently. But if we're gonna lobby back to like the 1600s, I think you'd be hard pressed to find Mexicans or Chinese or anybody that really played an enormous role.
Right now, there are people that don't look like me and don't look like you. Black people every color in the crayon book that are willing to fight for this country, for our freedoms, to have our own opinions, to be able to do what we're doing on the air right now. Wouldn't you call them all heroes? All different races, not just white.
No, I wouldn't actually, because I think that, well, I mean, because you're arguing about the position right now. I have friends and stuff that go into the military, and I try to dissuade them from doing so.
But wait, hold on, Richie, I'm sorry hold on. I just want to backtrack because I'm shocked with what you just said.
Sure.
You wouldn't characterize a black person in this country who risks his life and fights a war for us, maybe even loses his life, losing limbs.
He keeps saying for us, he's not fighting a war for us. I think any wars fought right now, if there is a war coming, and unfortunately I do believe it's coming, it's not being fought for us, it's being fought for somebody else. And that's why he's not a hero. He's a patsy. He's manipulated. He's been convinced of something that isn't actually true.
So you would characterize white people as that as well, then?
100%. If you join the military-industrial complex, you join.
That's not really what you just said. I just said, would you consider a minority the same as you would a white person who's serving the country? And you said no.
No. The original question is whether or not I would choose to be white v black.
That was one of the questions, right? That was.
I didn't hear you ask if I think that they're equally. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, I try my best to dissuade all young American men, regardless of race, to join the military or be a part of the military currently.
If you're a police officer, if you're a police, I just want to know what you think a hero is, because Donald Trump called hostages and patriots people who committed horrible crimes on January 6th. Would you say a firefighter is a hero? Whether you're black, white, orange, purple, you're a hero if you're willing to go into a fire and save a life. Is that? Would that
be? It's just a very reductive argument. I think a hero, and I don't mean this to I'm not saying this necessarily as, I mean, you could take it as a compliment if you want, but I would argue like a hero is more someone like yourself in today's day and age, right? Someone who is willing to get on a podium and verbally attack the systems that be to help enliven or awaken the masses to what's actually happening, to sort of provoke an outside perspective, to help restructure what's been broken, right? I would say those people are heroic. I mean, if you want to do like a reductionist argument to say, I would even argue that police are heroic. Like you can,
of course they are.
I think that when people make nuanced arguments, the biggest issue we face today is everyone deals in these absolutes, right? Like I can argue in favor of police brutality. I can argue against it. I can argue in favor of attacking police and self-defense. I can argue against it. I'm speaking in nuances, but it doesn't mean that I'm outside the realization that like police, what it takes to be a cop is beyond heroic, and they face all sorts.
Not all police officers are heroes. I would never say that, but I would never be an advocate for police brutality any more than I would be an advocate for people who beat police officers on January 6th. I think most people would characterize both of those as wrong, against the law, and people need to be punished and held to account.
I think most people, I agree. I think most people would agree with that. And I think that most people are comfortable with where they are in life right now. They're comfortable being told what is right and what is wrong. They're comfortable with being told what the mainstream news and what TV is persuading them to be told. They're comfortable with their, whatever job they have, their Netflix, their drive-through food, and their vaccinations, and all sorts of bullshit that I don't stand for. Yeah, people are comfortable with the law. It's time to get uncomfortable, is my argument.
And what's your definition of uncomfortable? Breaking the law?
Stop trusting the powers that be. Stop trusting.
I don't trust Donald Trump. I don't trust anybody in Donald Trump's administration.
No,
I think he's fired.
Do you trust the opposite side of the aisle there?
I have a lot of criticisms for the left as well, but I will say this:
I do want to know your opinion on Israel, because I think I brought that up a couple times, and I don't think we've really.
I just had Joe Walsh on before you. I've been very critical, especially recently with Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government. I am pro-Israel in a sense that I believe that they deserve to exist, but I think what's going on in Gaza is despicable and deplorable, and I don't trust the Israeli government. They're the ones who told us there were weapons of mass destruction with Saddam Hussein, and they're the ones that told us Iran is furthering their nuclear capabilities. I don't believe that to be true either. I don't defend Benjamin Netanyahu. I think he's a Trump lackey, for lack of a better term, and the guy who you voted for in 2016 is the guy who listens to Benjamin Netanyahu.
I agree. I don't disagree with you on any of that.
You racist Klan pig, you. You just took an entire race of people, a group of people, and you said most of them are, quote, idiots. Let me tell you who most trailer trash white supremacists are: idiots like you.
Brian, why is it that every time I listen to your show, the black people that call in, they just don't know what they're talking about? They stutter all over the place. My God. It's rough to listen.
What do you mean? What do you mean they stutter? I don't know what you're talking about. We have plenty of people for all different backgrounds that call into this show. I haven't had anybody on the show that stutters.
Always the blacks with the means. You know what I mean?
All right. So don't you think that's insulting? Don't you think that's insulting and racist on your part to make a claim that? Did you think Barack Obama stuttered a lot? Who do you think spoke more eloquently, Barack Obama or Donald Trump? I'm sure you voted for Donald Trump, didn't you, pal? I'm sure you did.
I'm just talking about your callers, because my God,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hard to listen.
I don't know what you're talking about. They haven't stuttered at all. Could it be this?
All of your viewers.
Adolf, hang on. Let me ask you a question. Could it possibly be that you don't like what some of these very educated and intelligent black people are saying because you're a racist and you don't want to hear about oppression, and you don't want to hear somebody that doesn't look like you, that probably sounds smarter than you and is more educated than you? Could that be it?
Oh, well, they are not calling your show. My God.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Trying to listen to these people.
All right,
listen to your people.
Well, let's see.
They don't know what they're talking about. They got the absolute worst views.
Gotcha. All right, so what does the GOP stand for?
Grand Old Party.
How many articles are in the Constitution?
There's 27.
Okay. Why don't you explain to me all the levels of government that we have? Can you do that?
This isn't about me. This is not about
No, this is about you. No. Hold on. You're claiming that the black people who called into my show are uneducated.
Yes.
Who did you vote for president?
Yeah, most of them are.
Okay.
I'm sure all of them.
Well, answer my questions then. Let's see how educated you are. Who did you vote for president?
Oh, I'm very well educated.
Okay,
don't worry about me.
Who did you vote for?
I've already answered all of your questions.
No, you haven't. Who have you voted for?
Yes, I have. Because you're already
stop stuttering.
I've already answered all.
Stop stuttering. Who did you vote for?
You're trying to get me. You're just trying to get me to sound stupid like the rest of your callers.
No. I think you've done that very well on your own. But who did you vote for? That's a very simple question. You could surely answer that. Who did you vote for?
Why do you want to know this?
Wait a second. It sounds to me like you have a stutter, sir. It sounds to me like that sounded like you stuttered. Who did you vote for, sir?
I voted for Trump.
Okay.
I voted for Trump the first time.
Yeah.
I voted for Trump the second time.
Smart.
And I voted for. And if there's an ability or a way to call for vote for him for another time,
okay.
I would.
So we've established you're a staunch Trump supporter. So does it bother you when he talked about electrocuting sharks or Hannibal Lecter, or he said you need voter ID to buy bread? He said Jeb Bush got us into the war in Iraq. Since you seem to have a problem with black people who've called into this show, do you have a problem with any of those statements that Donald Trump has made in the past maybe year or so? Does that
No,
bother
I
you?
haven't.
Oh, you don't.
They've been fine.
That
He
doesn't.
obviously
That
he knows
doesn't
what he's
bother you.
talking
Got
about.
you. So when he
And
attacks
that
Gold Star
you're
families,
just
hold on.
trying
When
to
he
sit
attacks,
here and you're
hold on.
trying to-
When he attacks Gold Star families and he attacks POWs and he blames everything on DEI hires, that doesn't bother you. But if a black person calls into the show and makes very valid points, that does seem to bother you. Am I getting that correctly?
Well, first of all, DEI is absolutely horrible policy. Absolutely horrible. Let's hire the best person, not just hire somebody because they're black or a Mexican.
Okay, so let's go with that. Let's go with that for a moment. Do you think Pete Hegseth was a DEI hire, or do you think he's qualified for the job?
The new guy that he just voted, that he just elected.
Are you asked? Do I stutter? I'll ask it again. Do you think Pete Hegseth is a qualified guy for the job? There's only two people in this country that have our nuclear codes. It's Donald Trump, your Cheeto Jesus leader, and a guy by the name of Pete Hegseth. Do you think Pete Hegseth is qualified for the job? And if you do, please tell me what his qualifications are, since you want to talk about DEI. Let's go down the road, pal.
Well, first of all, I would say that because he's not black, he's not a DEI hire.
Okay, so do you even know what DEI is?
Yes,
You don't even know the definition of DEI.
If Trump hired him, then he's qualified for the position.
Okay, so if Trump hires somebody, they're qualified for the position, regardless of whether they don't
100%.
have. Okay, but tell me what his qualifications are then. Just because Donald Trump, you don't know what his qualifications. Right.
I don't need
so
to.
if somebody is
You know who
black,
needs to know?
hold on.
President Trump.
If
needs
somebody,
to know because he's the one hiring him.
so if somebody is black and they're hired for a job, not knowing their resume, you assume they're a DEI hire because of the color of their skin. But if Donald Trump hires right, you would assume that because you're a racist. But if Donald Trump hires
because
hold
I'm
on,
a realist.
hear me out.
A realist.
No, you're a
racist.
No, you're not. No, you're not a realist. You're a real douchebag,
Yes,
is what
a
you are.
realist,
No, hold on. If Donald
the
Trump,
reality is that most of them are idiots.
okay, so most black people are idiots. Is that what you're claiming?
That's correct.
Okay, well then you're a bigot.
You
What time is your?
calling to your show?
Then
listen to him calling to your show.
Let me be. Answer me.
Stutter,
Okay, hold on. No, they don't. You stutter. You stutter.
Yes, they do.
You just made the case that, quote, most black people are idiots. My question to you is, what time is your Klan?
Correct.
What time is your Klan rally? Are you a member of the Klan, sir? Be honest.
Here it comes. You always go to that, right?
You just said no. I don't always go to it.
But I'm just
no,
saying,
I don't always go to it.
Right to it.
You just
go right to it.
You just hey, racist, pot him down. You racist Klan pig, you. You just took an entire race of people, a group of people, and you said most of them are, quote, idiots. Let me tell you who most trailer trash white supremacists are: idiots like you, who judge people based on race, who are uneducated, who are ill-informed. You, sir, are Donald Trump's base. You are a white supremacist. That's what you are, sir, to take an entire group of people and claim that they are all idiots. Sir, how many contacts would you say you have in your cell phone? Just give me a number, around. Give me about.
Well, I only have like 30 contacts.
Okay, so by the way, I'm surprised that there are only 30 people that would be willing to give out their number to you, because you sound like such a normal, nice guy. Out of those 30 people, how many of those people are black, sir?
I will say a guaranteed 0.
Gotcha. That's the point I was trying to make. Why is that? Why do you have no black people as friends or contacts? Why is that?
Why would I want to? My God. We've already established this. You know, Brian, we're just going in circles now.
Yes, we are. We're going in circles. Thank you for the call. And thank you for hanging up, you coward. He has 30 people in his phone, and none of them are black. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, that is Donald Trump's base. Sir, you are a racist. You are a bigot. You are despicable. You are scum of the earth, and I wish you nothing but the worst. You have hatred in your heart, and I wish they would deport you to Russia, sir. I wish they would deport you to Russia. Have a nice day, you racist, scumbag, MAGA deplorable you. And when Hillary Clinton called people like you deplorables, that's exactly what she was referring to. People like you. And it wouldn't have surprised me if you were there on January 6th as one of the January 6th insurrectionists. Stand back and stand by, you white supremacist piece of human garbage.